are glad you're here. And this is one of our highlights every year, to come together and celebrate and elevate what's happening in Greater Minnesota education. I had the opportunity to hit the road this past year and go into the classrooms of some of these amazing educators that are making a difference in Greater Minnesota, thanks to the generous support of ICS and Sourcewell. And we had such a blast. I learned so much on the journey. I learned that math actually can make sense. I learned that there's not just one right answer, and actually trying to find a variety is part of the point. I learned about the periodic table in a way that I never had before, and I got a little dating tips along the way, but more on that later. But most of all, I learned that you can change the world in the classroom, and it happens by being bold and pushing boundaries, trying to be creative, and not about getting more or needing more, but just doing what you have better. And I saw teachers relate with students in such meaningful ways. I left feeling so inspired, and I learned really, if you need a little motivation, just have coffee with a teacher. Because they've got so many amazing ideas, so much energy, and are constantly thinking, what can I do next? And that gives us so much hope for what we do today and for our next generation. We have teachers across this state that are pouring into students in such meaningful ways. So we're excited to shine a light on that today with all of you and allow us to celebrate what's happening across rural Minnesota. We're going to kick off today with highlighting two innovative programs that have gone beyond to try to think about how do we engage, relate, and inspire students. And we have a special guest tonight to present those awards. Education Commissioner Mary Catherine Ricker is here for us. Please join me in welcoming her to the stage.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Good evening, everybody. How are you? Fantastic. What a great packed room full of education advocates ready to celebrate two incredible profiles of excellence. I'm going to start picking up a little bit where I left off downstairs as we were talking. Every rural community desires to find a way to keep their talent, and their E12 schools are often the ones leading the idea initiation. In Bemidji, school leaders imagined equipping students with the skills needed to obtain rewarding careers right in their community. They considered, what if students never left? What if we created the programming so they could stay right here and contribute to their community right here? The result was Bemidji Career Academies, an opportunity for students to gain vocational certificates or diplomas without ever leaving their community. It is the only career academy program of its type in the state of Minnesota right now. Bemidji Career Academies has grown to serve 450 high school students through 18 different academies. This has been possible through the school district's collaboration with over 40 community partners. The outcomes of this program have been significant. All the metrics going all the right ways. Increased attendance, better student engagement, higher achievement of participating students, reduced disciplinary incidents, and improved graduation rates. Please join me in commending Bemidji Public Schools for its work. It's a privilege to present MREA's 2019 Profile of Excellence Award to Bemidji Career Academies program. Brian Stefanich, Director of Bemidji Career Academies, please accept this award on behalf of this program this evening. Thank you.
like to ask our superintendent, Tim Lutz, up to the stage as well. He did not want to come up. It's truly an honor because I know after going through our breakouts today and listening to fellow educators that we have so many deserving programs across the state of Minnesota. It's an honor to be recognized as this year's Profiles of Excellence. When Diane first sent out the email to me, she said, try to keep your words to the crowd under 2 to 3 minutes. I thought, 2 to 3 minutes? Does anyone know me in here? I can go on for a couple hours. Then I got a second email and it said 2 minutes. I thought, I wonder if there was supposed to be a dash in there. Maybe it's 12. Just kidding. I will not keep it to 12. Thank you very much to the MREA Profiles of Excellence Committee, Superintendent Tim Lutz, BHS Principal Dr. Jason Stonick, Career Academy Assistant Director Jenny Fraley, BHS Academy Leads Instructors, my supportive wife Sage, who watches me do my hobby academies every night while she does puzzles and reads books, and our 50 plus business and industry partners that are collaborating with us, who not only sponsor our academies financially, but they also open their doors for our students to earn or to work and get real world experience on site. This honor is truly a community award. Our community in Greater Bemidji is 100% supportive of the Bemidji Career Academies, as it's truly a win-win for all of our stakeholders, for our students, our parents, our families, our business and industry partners who collaborate and prepare our next generation of employees and community leaders. Our vision is a pathways for every student to succeed and thrive in our community. And now Tim is going to read a testimonial from a Health Career Academy student who graduated in May.
Okay. The Health Career Academy helped me in many ways. I knew that I wanted to work in healthcare, but I wasn't quite sure exactly doing what. I always thought about nursing, but didn't know if I would be able to do it. Being in the Health Career Academy, I was able to volunteer at the hospital, and I had opportunities to job shadow with nurses and doctors at Sanford Health. During the past 2 summers, I have interned at Sanford Health's Cancer Center. During these experiences, I found a love for nursing. I was able to get my certification for nursing assistant at Northwest Technical College as a senior in high school. This connected me with people at the college who made my transition from high school to college much easier this fall. I'm thankful that I was involved in the Health Career Academy because I would not be where I am today. Alex Johnson.
So in closing, I'd like to just share that we have students that are continuing in a 4-year college, we hopefully Bemidji State, a 2-year technical program, hopefully NTC, in their chosen career path, along with students entering the workforce. The relationships that I've forged with our CT teachers and our community partners is lifelong. In education, we used to say that we can make a difference in one life. We are successful. Through our career academies, we are making the difference of hundreds of lives. We now have over 600 students in our academies in grades 9 through 12 and over 50 partners, and that number keeps growing. We're just starting our 3rd year of the academy, so this is pretty special what we have going on. Thank you very much.
I'll grab that. Right. Congratulations, Bemidji Career Academies. Fantastic. This next award, this next Profile of Excellence award, is just as exciting. Find the kind. It sounds simple, yet the impact has been so profound, as a group of students at Lake Superior High School discovered. Students in the Two Harbors High School DECA program wanted to create awareness on the positive impact kindness can have on mental health. They took to social media and they launched a campaign to remind students, staff, and community members that how they treat each other matters. They encouraged them to take simple steps. The focus was to not miss an opportunity to be intentional and kind. And they set an example themselves at their high school throughout the campaign. They moved tables in the lunchroom so students were no longer left out. They made kindness jars for teachers to use in their classrooms. They collected 700 blankets in 4 days to donate to the Dorothy Day Homeless Shelter before a planned trip to the state capitol. The campaign gained global recognition, reaching over 2.5 million people in 35 countries, and received trademark requests for the campaign slogan, "Find the Kind." So please join me in enthusiastically recognizing Lake Superior Public Schools with MREA's 2019 Profile of Excellence Award for the Find the Kind Challenge. One of the DECA students is here tonight to accept the honor, so please help welcome to the stage Riley Larson, a senior and DECA member at Two Harbors High School. Riley.
Hello there, I'm Riley Larson from Two Harbors, Minnesota, and it's such an honor to be here tonight. I am representing my chapter tonight, and I couldn't be more thankful for this opportunity. I want to also thank my DECA chapter advisor, Janelle Jones, and our superintendent, Dr. Bill Crandall. They've been a huge help in all of our success throughout this entire campaign, and we couldn't have done it without them. Also, our school totally got behind us with everything that we did with this chapter, and we couldn't have made as big of a difference that we did without their help. So our main point in trying to do this campaign was trying to improve people's mental health through acts of kindness, and we really strictly tried to tell people that we just want to make a difference in any way that we can. Governor Walz personally invited us to the Capitol, and we were so honored because of that. The Twins also invited us to Twins Fest, and we held our very own booth, having them help us spread this message. With our reach of 2.5 million people and 35 countries was just an honor, and we couldn't have done it without our school's support. So, thank you.
Thank you. Those are just two of the programs that are making a difference in our schools, and it is our privilege every year to be able to talk a little bit about what's happening. And it doesn't just happen with teachers and administrators, it happens with teachers empowering students. And what happened with DECA was pretty cool. So we are excited for more opportunities to continue to show what's happening and hopefully inspire others in this room to put some of this work in action. Our next award this evening is the Educator of Excellence. This is a newer award for us. We started just a few years ago, and actually the gentleman on stage with me is Lee Carlson, our board president, and he was the mastermind behind this. The teacher himself, he was with the other board members saying, could we do more to recognize rural teachers? Feeling like oftentimes they might be in the shadows, yet it's what they're doing that is so amazing. And so we continue to find ways to get into those classrooms and be able to share those stories. And we get to just share 4 of those with you tonight. The first one is Jessica Strom. She actually was the first stop on our video truck journey. And up in Winniemac was our great opportunity to walk in there and be greeted. And she has a flipped classroom model. And that has become more popular, certainly, in our schools. But what she was able to do with it is bigger than just flipping the classroom. She completely changes the approach on how she is connecting with students. When we walked in there, they walked in and they weren't sitting in desks or sitting at tables. They took to boards and were working on problems and constantly moving and trying to think about, how would I do this or how would you do that? And it was so fun to see. And I said, as we sat with some of the students and asked, what's this mean to you? And what do you think about this? And they would say, man, for the first time, math made sense to me. I had a light bulb moment in her class. And they had gone their entire career almost in school before they had that. And they went on to say, gosh, I feel like I could actually do something in math because she taught it in a way that made it make sense. I felt like I actually thought math made a little sense in there. You guys probably would guess math is not my major. My major would have been more on the side of English and communications, obviously. And so I was in there thinking, man, I'm having my own light bulb moments here. It was really cool to be a part of a whole different classroom environment. And it's not just there. What Jessica does is inspire people across that district, across the region, to have the tools to say, you can do it too. You can find ways and I can help you. And so she's dedicated tons of time to help all throughout her school and beyond find ways to really light math on fire for students, even in kindergarten. We know that solving future problems of this world is going to take some math. And so we're grateful for people like Jessica Strong who are leading the way and being able to change the way we think about something that feels maybe so common. So please join me in recognizing Jessica Strong with the 2019 Educator of Excellence Award this evening.
This actually would be really a lot easier if I could just teach you a math lesson. But I actually feel really lucky because my job is also my hobby. You go through all your teacher training and you do your student teaching, and it was just amazing that first paycheck. I was like, they're paying me to do this, and that's really quite amazing thing to be able to do that and to love what you do and not even feel like you're working for a paycheck. Which also means I spend a lot of time doing what I do. And I can only do that because I have such a great support system. So I am lucky that it's also our Thanksgiving time, and I get to publicly thank the people involved in my life that support me through all these years. First, I need to thank my husband, who does not understand my geeking out over math, but he's patient and allows me to do it and support me anyway. My family, who came all the way here to support me, my mom, dad, my mother-in-law, father-in-law, sister. Without their help, I wouldn't be able to do what I do. They inspire me to be people like them, the great people that they are, and they're my biggest cheerleaders in the background. My children, who probably spend more time at the school than they do at home, who are patient with me during those times, and also let me experiment with all my new things that I find out and try it out on them first. My fellow teachers, my teacher friends in and out of Winnie Mac, the safe place that I can go to vent, share stories. I can geek out with someone. I eventually find someone in the building who'll let me do that and that inspire me to keep on growing and sharing. My administration and school board, who support me in the things that I've been wanting to do and give me the freedom to try new things. My students, who are really good sports, let me try new things on them. They're really good guinea pigs. And then I also want to thank the MREA. Creating an opportunity to honor and acknowledge rural teachers is such an amazing thing for you to do. I'm humbled to be a part and recognized as an educator of excellence. I want to quickly, though, take this opportunity also, since I have a room full of administrators and school board members. See, most of my teaching career, I was told that the one doing the talking is the one doing the learning. I was really excited about that. I went in my classroom, I said, okay, we're going to talk about the quadratic formula. Nobody talked. And then I thought, wow, there's really no learning going on here. I was lucky enough in the last couple of years to be a part of MCTM and meet some amazing educators across the state and the nation. And what they taught me opened up my world. I went from being teacher-centered in lecture. We did I do, we do, you do. You all know what I'm talking about, right? And then the other day I realized as my students walked out of the room, my room all of a sudden has become student-centered. When they walked out of the room, I didn't say, wow, I did a really good job today. Instead I said, wow, they really brought it today. They did some amazing stuff today. And I realized that I'm able to now, because of all these changes and these new things that I've been learning, I can now talk to each and every student all day long. And I can hear their thinking, and then I get to take their thinking and lead them farther into their math education. And my students talk about math every single day and enjoy it. But it's not a special curriculum that I'm using. It's adopting these new routines and activities that have been developed over the last decade. So my message to you, school board members, administrators, please support and encourage your teachers to learn and grow. Send them to PD. See, in these rural areas, local opportunities don't happen every single year. So if it's an English year and there's a math opportunity, you need to send those math people so that they can learn that year. It might not happen next year or the year after. Send them when the opportunity arises. Give them time to explore and learn. You have teachers in your building that are hungry to learn. I've talked to them, they've told me that, but they're being held back for whatever reason. I've been lucky enough at Winnie Mac to have been fully supported by my administration and school board. They've sent me to workshops and they've supported me in my experimenting with what I've learned. They even bought me whiteboards to put all the way around my room, and they keep me stocked in my markers, and this way I can keep my students active in learning and thinking about math. So please allow and encourage these opportunities in your schools. From these opportunities, I'm standing here now. I love what I do, it's my hobby, and I can't imagine doing anything else. Thank you everyone for your support, love, and encouragement.
Our next honoree this evening had the idea to give more opportunities to students. Sitting at a desk and doing the traditional work isn't something that appeals to everybody, and there's a lot of talk about hands-on learning and applied learning in today's world, but few have taken it to the level that Ryan Larson has. He had an idea to say, what if we transformed this industrial tech space into an interdisciplinary space where students can come in and actually get all their core standards in learning and still be doing hands-on work that gets them excited and engaged in school? What if they had a place where they felt like they could belong, felt like they would be connected? Give them a sense of community and give them a sense of pride that they could create something meaningful. And he has had many amazing ideas on how to do that. They have built so many cool things that they actually put to use. Everything from going out and doing maple syrup and learning all that goes with that, to actually building a boat of sorts that they can actually go and take down the water together. But the biggest thing about Ryan Larson is his heart. And if you've met him, you know it's immeasurable. Because this man believes in his kids in a way that few do. And he leans in on them, and he knows that what they're going through is hard. And sometimes just showing up at school is a success. And it reminds him every day that someone cares and invests in them and wants to cheer them on when they cross the stage to receive their diploma. Because of his work, Pine City Public Schools has been able to see increased attendance, reduced disciplinary issues, better academic achievement, and the big win of graduation of students that once maybe would get left a little behind, because he took the time to pour into them. and care about them and love on them. He's a man with a really big heart, and I am honored to be the person that gets to bring him up to this stage tonight and give him the 2019 Educator of Excellence for his work with Dragon Academy. Join me in thanking him.
So this is a little off script, but when Sam and Mark were talking today about Mission Monday, Dr. Nolan, where are you right now? He was my middle school principal back in 1991 through 94. And the thing I remember about Dr. Nolan was when he came out and played soccer with us and threw the Frisbee around with us. Kind of a neat thing. I think Dr. Paulson is also here. He was my high school principal, so it's kind of fun to see some people from my past. Thank you to our school board and Mr. Anderson. When I proposed Dragon Academy, I didn't think they were going to say yes, and I certainly didn't think they were going to say yes right away. And that was the last year of my master's program, so that was definitely a learning experience. But I had a little story here. When I first walked through the Pine City High School doors on that hot July morning in 2012, I certainly wasn't anticipating this award from MREA. In fact, my knowledge of MREA was hazy at best. What really was on my mind was this: would I be teaching in September, or would I still be cutting joinery and raising timber frames? During my student teaching through Northwestern at St. Paul a decade earlier, I realized that I wasn't ready to teach in a traditional classroom. So began the adventure: timber framing, being a student at the National Outdoor Leadership School and Wilderness Medicine Institute, ski patrolling, instructing paddling and dog sledding expeditions with Voyager Outward Bound School, whitewater paddling, more timber framing, marriage, kids. Though it took 10 years, I thought I was perhaps now ready for the classroom. Fortunately for me, my soon-to-be principals thought I was too. On my first day of class, Tyler, a senior, walked into my room, took one look at me and said, "You have some big shoes to fill." Yup, I sure did. My new job was available because Miss Mill, one of the teachers who started the junior high alternative learning center I was now expected to lead, retired. Miss Mill cared for and loved, sometimes firmly, her students, and they knew it. She was like the important teachers of my life: my wife Angela, our kids, my parents, Miss Smith, later Godfrey, English teacher, Mr. Mike Anderson, math, Mr. Bozier, woodworking, Mr. Delick, welding and mechanical drafting, Phil, Dana, Drew, and Paul at the timber framing shop, Professors Landrum, Black, and D.L. Johnson at Northwestern, Kushner at Outward Bound, Mr. Wagner at Pine City, my students, and so many more. These individuals taught me, encouraged me, pushed me, challenged me. It is them and the saving and daily sustaining work of Jesus Christ in my life that has helped prepare me to be the teacher that I am today. Though the 2015 launch of Dragon Academy from the foundation of the Junior High LC was a lot harder than I anticipated, it, like most good expeditions I've been part of, has moments that truly make the effort worth it. Certainly being recognized for this award is an honor, and it is a testament to those that have invested in me. Their labor has not been in vain, and it is my aim and hope to continue it well.
With experiences like that, now you know why his student projects are so amazing. He likes a sense of adventure, and he gives it to his students every day. When I walked into the next person's classroom, I was hoping to maybe just slip in the back and watch. But Mr. Merrick isn't that kind of guy. He likes everyone to be engaged in his classroom, and I guess that includes the MREA Communications Director. And so he took every opportunity to engage his students, maybe at my expense. And we had a lot of fun during that time. Because if you know Pat Merrick, you know that he has a sense of humor, and he knows how to bring it. And his students expect that. I learned in that classroom that you can engage students without them ever getting out of their chair. because he had amazing metaphors and ideas that brought chemistry to life in a way that I never got when I was in high school. He would explain that periodic table as a high school. He would go through long explanations about the hierarchy of this table that also helps you understand that there's also a hierarchy in how you choose a mate. They're not all created equal. Some have better attributes than others. And by sharing those stories, he got tons of laughs out of his students. But he also planted some big seeds on what element you want to be, which one you want to find. And so when they got to put their work into action, they could tie it back to something they could relate to. He made jokes about things that mattered to them and were relevant to them. And he continues to think about ways, even if it means developing new classes. He doesn't believe in teaching the same thing over and over. He wants his students to love science and know that it's going to matter to them for the rest of their lives. And so he continues to find new ways. And his new Earth Yes class is one of those ways that gets students who maybe would have never been excited about science excited. And they get to see that the steps that they take actually have an impact in this world. Made me feel a little bit bad by not carpooling to school because they did the calculation on what it cost, maybe the future generation. The decisions we make matter, and our character matters. And Pat Merrick teaches that every day in his classroom. He is committed to Westwick Walnut Grove in a way that few teachers maybe are. He's ingrained in everything they are. He knows the activities happening. He's involved in the community. He is embedded in the fabric of that community. And so you don't just need to step into his classroom to know him. He teaches you wherever you are. So it's our privilege today to give the 2019 Educator of Excellence to Patrick Merrick. Please join me in welcoming him to the stage.
Congratulations to all the honorees. It's a wonderful night. First, I want to thank the MREA for a humbling honor, and a special thank you goes to Dawn Zimmerman for somehow making me look reflective and sensible. It's harder than you think. To paraphrase, it takes a village to raise a teacher. A great many people have been so supportive in helping me hone my craft. Thank you to my administration. Their trust in their instructors have allowed me to be brave. And thank you to my co-teachers. Every day they welcome, support, and educate me on what it takes to be a good teacher and what real teaching looks like. I'm only here because of my students. They're wonderful and exciting and exhausting and simply our best hope for the future. And I need to tell you, we're in good hands. Thank you for letting me be a part of your life. Thank you to my parents and my siblings and my in-laws. They were my first and best teachers. From you, I learned to try hard and then to try again. I learned to be open to new experiences. They will either lead to great memories or even better stories. To Zachary and Kelsey and Joshua, Caleb, Andrew, Teresa, and Elijah. Thank you for understanding your father, for putting up with me being your teacher, your coach, your driving instructor, and your class officer, and the guy who had to take you to the pool. Thank you for your patience with my late nights when I just had to finish more schoolwork. You are my greatest source of pride, and I love you. Most of all, I want to thank my wife, Shelley. You are my best friend. You're my trusted advisor, my greatest ego deflator. That's not as funny as you think it is. And a model of who I want to be. Thank you all.
excellence is certainly not last but least on this. When we were talking to Tony McGee's students, they kept saying, he starts with us. He asks us what we want. He asks me what our goals are. And then somehow he just makes it happen. He doesn't come in with his own plans. Each year he finds a way to figure out what ours are and achieve them. And for those students, it felt like they were in control of their education. They had the power to do something bigger than they've ever had before. He wanted them to see more opportunity. And he has done everything he can to unlock more opportunities for students that maybe otherwise wouldn't enroll in Minnesota. If it meant going and getting extra certifications and doing extra studying over the summer, he would do it. He went and got what he needed to bring a Mayo Clinic lab to his school so his students could actually see how science turns into careers that are rewarding and meaningful, not too far from Plainfield, Elgin, Millville. He helped them see that what they can do today in science actually has an impact on their lives, whether they go into a science career or not. He's helped them shape futures that they didn't even realize they could have. All because of science. He'll say if you look around his classroom, it looks really traditional. Taxidermy and beakers and what most of us maybe would have saw growing up. But if you're in his classroom, he's not in front of the room. He's walking around, and his students are leading the work. He's asking good questions, and they're finding the answers. And sometimes it's hard, but he's patient. And he makes the teachers around him want to change how they walk into their classrooms. Because it's not about Tony McGee. It's about doing what's right for students every single day. So it's my honor today to recognize Tony McGee with the 2019 Educator of Excellence. Please join me in welcoming him to the stage.
Wow, thank you, Dawn. I also want to offer Dawn a huge thank you. Coming into my classroom, she and her crew made me feel wonderful and special and valued, and the video that they put together is just unbelievable to me and flattering. And I would echo so much of what my colleagues here that are joining me this evening. This whole process has been humbling and flattering, and I just feel so honored. It's been special. I want to thank MREA for having this opportunity for honoring teachers. It's not something we do a lot of in our profession. All of us, we go into our classrooms, we do our thing, and we do the best we can every single day with the kids that we have every single day and the families we have every day. And we're not built to talk about ourselves. We're not built to, try to get accolades or any of those things. So when there are groups out there that are willing to select us and honor us and make us feel as special as I have felt through this process, that's fantastic. And I am really thankful for that. I'm lucky in my career. I have had the blessing of having administrators all the way along the way that when I asked, can I go to this conference or can I go to that conference or that workshop or that training, I don't think anyone has ever told me, no, you can't go do that. And because I've gotten to go to these places and connect with people, I've gotten exposure to all kinds of different ways to engage with my students, and that's helped me to be the teacher that I hope my students see me as, the teacher that I want to be, and it wouldn't have happened if I haven't had the opportunities to do that. As a rural educator, as all of you in the room know, you're usually the only person in your room, in your building, that teaches that subject. And so how do you find out ways to be better at teaching your subject? Well, like I said, I've had the opportunity to attend all these conferences and be part of professional organizations that have helped me learn how to do that to the best of my ability. I found the conference today an inspiring experience. At Plainview, Elgin, Millville, I feel pretty lucky. We have a school board that we work well with. We have a superintendent that has vision for our district and works extremely well with our teachers. And I have a building principal that has an incredible vision for where he wants our building to be in the future, and we're working really hard to get there. And it's professionally some of the most exciting stuff I've gotten to work on in a while, and it's a lot of fun for that. There's many people I should be thanking while I'm standing up here tonight. The very top of that list is my wife, Nicole. She gets to listen to all of my crazy ideas. She has to talk me down for some of the ridiculousness that I come up with. For those times when, no, that's dumb. You don't need to do that. She's there for me. She tries to keep me on the track that she sees me wanting to be on. I want to thank my building principal, Nate Walbrook. I do appreciate the leadership that he's offering our high school staff, and thanks for the nomination. It's much appreciated. Diane, thank you for keeping me on track and getting here today. Dawn, again, thank you for making me feel honored and special and valued. And all the people I've worked with over the years. As teachers, we don't do any of this alone. Any of the thing that any of us are able to accomplish is because we're surrounded by professionals that are all there working hard for the students in our classrooms every single day. And I've been really fortunate to be part of the great communities of teachers my entire teaching career. So thank you, everyone.
We give out these awards because we want to honor each of the stories behind why these educators are receiving the awards. And this year we did capture them on video, and we encourage you to go check them out because our favorite part about it is hearing what the students have to say. Because they can get a pat on the back from a colleague or an administrator, but we're all here to impact students. And these educators are impacting students in some really meaningful ways. And so we want to capture those stories, and we don't want to just have the moment of today stay here today, but we want to continue to share them and elevate what's happening across greater Minnesota. Because the work happening there is changing our world. It is creating leaders. It is creating innovators. It's creating students who genuinely care about the people around them, as Riley taught us today. So we encourage you to go out and share those with the people in your life and say, we're real proud. We got something special here that we want to share with others. Lee Carlson has been on the stage handing out the awards today. He's going to say a few words. He's been our board president this year, and as I shared, a mastermind behind the Educators of Excellence. So please give him a round of applause.
Thank you, Don. I want to start with a few thank yous. It took me 31 years to get here, right? So just humor me with a few minutes. I'd like to thank Paul Peltier. Where are you? He's right back there. He's our Greater Minnesota rep on the Pellsby board. So he said he was coming to present. He called me last fall and said, my name's Paul Peltier. I'm in Boston. I want to get on the Pellsby board, and can you help me? And I never met him before. He never met me. He just, when he wants to get something done, he's going to do whatever. So he's a great guy to have there. He also brought an extra tie and socks. So I want to thank him for that. A few weeks ago, I talked to a guy in church about, when the farmers get going, they're going to really be going hard. And I said, I haven't driven a truck in 35 years, but if somebody wants to take a chance, I'd be happy to help. And some guy called me and asked me to come out and put me in a semi, which I'd never driven before. Gave me about 15 minutes training, and I was on my own. So Saturday night, we got done with the corn. So I have an excuse for not packing my tie and socks, I guess. I'd also like to thank the people from Windham that are here, Jamie and Angela and Bruce and Tim. 2 years ago, I came to Windham to teach. I'd had a great year. I never enjoyed teaching more than that year, but I knew to keep putting everything into it, I needed to change. And Windham welcomed me, and they've supported me. And I really appreciate them being here and the opportunity I've gotten. The last thank you then is Fred and Diane and Sam and Mitch And Dawn, she talked about these videos. They were supposed to be working tonight. So on the spur of a moment, this lady came up here and did what she did, which you all saw. She did not know she was going to have to do that until shortly before she had to do it. So I think she deserves a great big hand. And it speaks to how memorable those experiences are. We get to go in somebody's classroom, and she saw what these people did, and she can bring that to us, even though she didn't know she'd have to tonight. A couple things. I grew up in a town of 400 in South Dakota, and I had 3 brothers. We grew up on a farm. My dad quit school in 9th grade. I was 7 the first time my mom was committed for manic depression. But back then we didn't have Dr. Phil, so we never got to find out how messed up we were. And all 4 of us boys have families and careers, and we grew up healthy, played college ball. Dad never coached us. He just said be the hardest workers out there and have fun. And since he had kind of given up on school a little early, because of circumstances, he decided to do what he could for his community, and he was board chair for 15 years, which made it a little bit difficult for us on some occasions. But I heard from people that he didn't try and pretend he was an expert. He listened to both sides, and he was willing to give answers and stand behind them. So I think he was a very good board chair in that role. And that moves me to this summer. A college teammate of mine is a superintendent pillager, Mike Malmberg. He's doing a great job there. And so I get together once in a while. He's from Oaks, North Dakota, a little bitty town on the border of South Dakota. I was on the North Dakota border too, and in South Dakota, so we weren't too far apart growing up. Our birthdays are about 10 days apart, so we've kept in touch. And again, he's done a great job over there. So my wife and I, my wife's a teacher, 5th grade teacher. She had a heart attack a couple years ago. She didn't even blink when they told her she had a heart attack. She had helped out at a concert that night on a Friday night, came home, didn't feel so good. And she had her daughter, I was in the cities at meeting, of course, and our daughter brought her to the ER. And she waited till her mom left. She didn't want to alarm her mom. And then we found out she had a heart attack. The doctor said it, and she didn't blink. They said, you have to take a month off from school. And she started bawling like a baby. So when you talk about teachers, you can't quantify that in the numbers and the data. I mean, there's something else that's got to be there to make it really work. And she's an amazing teacher, and she's been back going full bore, and she came back the last few weeks that year too. So this summer I was with Mike, and he's a super pillager. He's got a great place on Agate Lake, and he's a bachelor. So us guys that play football, we get together in July at his place. Instead of talking about raising hell and chasing ladies, now we talk about CPAP machines and colonoscopies. And one guy's a doctor, so he's got some pretty good pictures. But we had heard about a family that we knew. He was 22 years old. He went to the training at the police academy. He finished his physical test and he collapsed. And they found out that he's got a really rare form of cancer. And it doesn't really make him feel terrible, but they don't really have an answer, all right? And so we knew that his family had come to work at a campground by Agate Lake, and Mike, they had come to the school a year ago, and so we went to the campground. We found this kid's dad, and we talked about it. He was really, he went to the police academy, and now he wants to be a teacher. He says, and I don't know how we tell him, we don't know what's going to happen, and to put all that money again into another degree and all that, and Mike looked at it and says, you know what, have him sign up to be a parent. We'll find a place for him, and that'd be a great way for him to get in the classroom and find out if it's for him or not. But so here's a superintendent going to a campground to try and find somebody who's never had any experience in education and try and find a way for him to be part. And then 20-some years ago, I had heart surgery and double kidney operation, and you can watch the TED Talk. But so when I talked to Jaden, his future is pretty, a lot of questions. I said, here's what. I said, for me, teaching really, it kept me alive. It did. I had to decide every morning if it was worth it to get up and go when I didn't have to, and every morning I made that decision. And now, when I'm not dying, teaching is awesome. And I'm coaching junior high football when I'm 53 years old, and they're a bunch of squirrels, but if you point them at the right tree, they can get something done, you know. And so I talked to Jaden, and he was kind of, and so a few weeks ago I asked Mike, I said, so is Jaden, did he sign up? He says, yeah, he did. And he's in the classrooms, and everybody says he's doing a fantastic job. And he doesn't know how much time he's got, but he knows where he wants his time to be. And I think those kids and those students recognize that too, just as you've heard from our educators of excellence. I would also be remiss, we got some board members here, when we started this that know that Darren Glenn, it wasn't just me, Darren Glenn was pretty fired up about we need to do something for changing the narrative about rural educators. He was pretty fired up, so I kind of listened and tried to translate it into amicable terms. And our board, right like that. I love that about MREA. If we got a great decision, we can turn it around real quick and make it happen. And so we have great support from the board. And our educators of excellence every year, they're different stories, and they come from all over the state, but you can connect, right? You had a teacher, you had an experience that wasn't the same as what they're saying, but it was. And that's why you're here now. And we need our school board members, and we need our administrators, and we need our community members in Greater Minnesota. And I really thank you for being here tonight and doing what you do. Thank you.
Our final award this evening is the Distinguished Service Award. We know it takes great teachers to make a difference in our schools. It takes innovative programs to make a difference for students. And it also takes leaders outside of that space who are thinking about what can we do to solve the problems to make a difference. And two of them are going to be honored here tonight. Distinguished Service has been a really important part for MREA. It's one of the first awards that have been around because it does take a village to create Greater Minnesota education. Lance Bagstad is going to join me on stage. He is the president-elect for MREA. He's also the superintendent of Park Rapids to honor this year's recipients. Please join me in welcoming him.
Thank you, Dawn. I am honored to present the 2019 MREA Distinguished Service Award to Jeremy Kovash and Dr. Boyd Bradbury for their work on 18 Online. When the Higher Learning Commission raised the credentialing standards for high school teachers to teach concurrent enrollment courses in their schools, Jeremy Kovash and Dr. Boyd Bradbury collaborated to find a solution. Without one, many schools, such as Park Rapids, would be in jeopardy. Jeremy and Boyd led the collaborative effort between their two organizations, Lakes Country Service Cooperative and Minnesota State University Moorhead, along with the Northwest Service Cooperative. Together, they wanted to find a way to help our teachers gain the additional credits needed so high school students will continue to have access to these important college-level classes in our school. They developed a program called 18 Online, a graduate initiative for high school teachers in providing the 18 credits needed to teach concurrent enrollment courses in their content areas. They planned out the details to make the venture successful and gain support and funding, very importantly, from the state legislature. 18 Online now offers concurrent enrollment credentialing courses in 9 subject areas. It has served hundreds of teachers in all 6 economic regions of Minnesota. And as of this fall, teachers had earned nearly 6,000 credits through the program. 18 Online has been a tremendous asset to our rural teachers and the rural students they serve. So please join me in thanking Jeremy Kovash and Dr. Boyd Bradbury for their leadership and recognizing them with the MREA's 2019 Distinguished Service Award.
Well rehearsed.
We've got this down. So. Well, thanks so much, and I think I'd be remiss right up front if I didn't mention how important the support is. We heard tonight, in particular, our family, our wives, such as my own wife, Cheryl, and we have 2 boys, Malcolm and Boyd. Anytime you want to do things that are good for kids, and I know that sounds a bit overused, a bit trite maybe, but anytime you want to do that, that support has to start right at home. They have to understand that when you're going to do things that are good for kids, oftentimes that's going to take away a lot of time that you could otherwise spend with your immediate family. And so this is an example of something that's really good for kids. The Northwest Regional Partnership, commonly referred to as 18 Online, was renamed to the statewide Concurrent Enrollment Teacher Training Program in a subsequent legislative session, and it really exemplifies doing what is good for kids and parents as well. 18 Online, as mentioned previously, had its origin in a conversation of a handful of folks who knew that something needed to be done to respond to the Higher Learning Commission's decision to enforce its definition of a qualified instructor. Without a master's degree and 18 graduate credits in the content area, teachers would not have been able to continue teaching college credit courses in the high school, since universities wouldn't have been able to transcript courses taught by unqualified teachers. With a short window of time to make something happen, we developed a plan forward. This plan was very much a grassroots effort that enlisted the help of legislators such as Senator Kent Eakin and Representative Bud Nornis. That's bipartisan, folks, and something that others could take a good lesson from. Educational organizations such as the Minnesota Rural Ed Association, led for many years by Dr. Fred Nolan, school administrators, service cooperative directors such as Jeremy Kovash and Dr. Bruce Jensen, college personnel, and folks such as Sam Walseth, who simply know the capital at Minnesota quite well. The successful passage of 18 Online resulted in a $3 million appropriation and subsequent funding to provide a path forward to allow teachers to get qualified in their content area through online courses, free tuition, and free books. Superintendents agreed to allow lane changes for these courses, and university administrators worked with college professors to develop and offer these courses. Looking back, it's somewhat remarkable that it all came together. The cooperation and collaboration stand as testimony to what can happen when we push in the same direction for something that is worth pushing. The tuition savings for kids and parents is in the many millions each year, since college credits earned at the high school level can result in saved tuition and shortened time at the collegiate level. I've been involved in public education for around 3 decades, and while I truly hope and believe that I have impacted many individuals, organizations, and communities in positive ways, I believe that the success of 18 Online has been more impactful on a widespread basis than any educational initiative of which I have been involved. I'm grateful for the combined effort of so many to do something that is so good for kids and parents alike, and I'm humbled and honored to accept MREA's Distinguished Service Award with Jeremy Kovash, who is a consummate professional. Thank you.
I'd like to start by thanking Lance and Boyd for stealing my speech. So I think Jerry Ness will be very happy that this will be short. But Lakes Country Service Cooperative, like the Minnesota Service Cooperatives, we were created to serve and innovate with our schools, but never alone. The opportunity to build 18 Online came about through friendship, as Boyd mentioned, collaboration, and partnership. I'm humbled and honored to accept this award on behalf of our visionary board of directors, our amazing team at Lakes Country, and our school leaders who push our organization every day to be the best we can in service to them. 18 Online actually started over a holiday break. I think I just looked back on my calendar, December 28th, 2016, when I talked Boyd and Dr. Bruce Jensen, who's with us tonight, to go have a little pizza and some fellowship. And I paid, of course, guys, so you both owe. So we discussed the issues that our schools were having with concurrent enrollment, as Boyd so eloquently put. We put a plan together and very fortunate that our idea became a reality with the support, the fantastic support of Minnesota State University Moorhead, and certainly with the help of our partners, as Boyd mentioned. Kirk Schneidewin and the School Board Association, fantastic supporters. Gary Amoroso and MASA, outstanding friends at the Capitol, and certainly Fred Nolan and MREA. Education Minnesota chipped in as well in support of our efforts. Our lobbyist, the very best in his field, Sam Walseth, helped us to get the ball rolling, along with our bill authors, Senator Kent Eakin and Representative Norris. So finally, I'm proud to have been raised by the best educator ever in the state of Minnesota and married to another. I won't rank them because I don't want to get in trouble. But I'm proud that we've helped, as Boyd said, hundreds of thousands of students, or hundreds of teachers and thousands of students across Minnesota. To date, our teachers, again, as Boyd mentioned and Lance did, have earned 6,000 credits in 9 subject areas. With plans in the works for 2020 and beyond, it's our intention to continue the program. We're excited to witness the positive impact it will have on our next generation of teacher leaders and future college-bound students. In closing, I'm grateful to work with such quality people and partners in and out of Lakes Country. 18 Online is another great example of our motto, which we try to live up to each day. Together we achieve. Thank you.
We all have those teachers who made an impact on our lives. And I thought when I graduated that maybe my list of teachers impacting my lives would end. But my time at MREA, I've had a lot of teachers who made a big impact. Some of those classrooms I got to be a part of this year. But there's one teacher in the last 9 years who has continued to invest, has continued to empower, has continued to find ways to innovate and inspire for the good of the people around him, for the good of schools, and for the good of rural students. And that man is Dr. Fred Nolan. It's been an honor to serve with him. And he's on a lot of students' top teacher list. And I'm grateful, although I never got to be in his classroom officially, I got to be a part of his retirement plan at MREA. And he has taught everyone on our team how to be better people and how to believe in something bigger than ourselves. So join me in welcoming Dr. Fred Nolan to the stage.
Thank you so much, but isn't she amazing to do what she did? And think about the spouses and the children that are right here and the schools that supported these educators. Let's give a great round of applause to all those folks, our educators of excellence, our profile learning, all our awardees, and all the folks who supported them. Let's give them a great round of applause. And I would encourage you to go see the videos online if you haven't, and just see that, because we're so delighted that we have sponsors in Sourcewell and ICS who are able to bring that to you, and we're looking forward to doing that next year. So nominate educators, nominate programs that you think deserve it. Our things will be online shortly. Now, after this great dinner, dessert is downstairs around the pool, and you'll have a chance to meet the awardees and mingle. And there we also have hospitality rooms done by our board members, okay? And they're by region, so you can go to your region, north, central, south central, or you can cruise around the whole state and just chat with people. And there'll be some adult beverages and non-adult beverages, and there'll be some other things as well, so take some time. And that starts about 8 o'clock. We're just about there now. Also, tomorrow morning is another networking opportunity at the event center, starting at 7 o'clock, going till about 9:15, to network with our associate members and exhibitors, including the 2 Profile of Excellence awardees. Will have tables where you can talk with them in more detail about Find the Kind and the Academy's program. And this is a great chance to go around and talk about issues you have or problems and see ways to solve them, including the 2 districts. So, awardees, please stay for pictures, along with the commissioner. I believe you're still here. Yes, wonderful. Please stay for pictures. And we'll see everybody else down at the poolside. Thank you so much.